Okay, so ready to dive in. Today, we're going deep on this, well, it's a pretty wild text, actually, called A Glimpse into the Word.txt. And honestly, even the title's a bit cryptic.
Definitely grabs your attention, right?
Yeah, for sure. And it gets even more interesting when you see what it's about.
Where should we even begin?
Well, it all centers around John 1.1, and that whole in the beginning was the word passage, but, well, it takes a pretty unique approach.
It's definitely not your typical Sunday school lesson.
Not even close. It brings in this whole idea of the sacred Atlantean brotherhood, which I gotta admit I'd never even heard of before.
Yeah, they're a bit of an enigma, even within the text itself. It doesn't give you a super clear-cut definition.
It's so mysterious. But before we get too lost in the mystery of it all, let's let's actually hear what the text itself has to say about this whole word thing. So it starts obviously with the John 1.1 quote, and then it kind of jumps right into interpreting the word. And well, it describes it as this like divine essence, the source of all creation, the creative force behind everything.
He's presented almost like a universal principle, almost like a law of nature, but imbued with consciousness.
Yeah, and that's actually something that really stood out to me as I was reading this. It's not just some kind of passive energy, but rather this force that's both aware and like actively involved in the process of creation.
Exactly. It's like this dynamic energy that's driving everything forward, but also has this awareness of what it's doing.
So we've got this concept of the word as this conscious creative force. Then we have this enigmatic sacred Atlantean brotherhood. What exactly is their connection to the word, according to the text?
Well, the text positions them as this lineage, almost like a chain of individuals throughout history who've dedicated themselves to understanding and embodying the word. It doesn't necessarily present them as a formal organization with like membership cards and meetings.
Right, more like a shared understanding, a common thread running through their lives.
Precisely. And their focus is on unlocking the power of the word within themselves, not just intellectually grasping the concept, but actually experiencing it, living it.
Now that is fascinating, and that actually leads perfectly into one of the bolder claims the text makes. It says that the lost word isn't something you find out there in the world, but something you realize within yourself.
It's a journey of self-discovery, an inward exploration rather than an external search. Like they even quote that line from the Hidden Gospel of Thomas.
Seek until you find. Right.
Exactly. And the text suggests that finding isn't about stumbling upon some hidden artifact or secret text, but rather about a profound internal realization.
It's about waking up to something that's already there within you.
Absolutely. And the text makes it clear that this process, this journey of awakening, isn't always easy. It talks about how challenging your old beliefs, really confronting those deeply ingrained ways of seeing the world, can be uncomfortable, even a bit unsettling.
Definitely that whole growing pains thing, right? But the text argues that it's through this process of challenging our preconceived notions that we can actually achieve profound personal growth and ultimately tap into that divine essence.
Yeah, it's about breaking down those old paradigms to make room for something new, something bigger.
So for our listeners out there who are, thinking, okay, this is all very interesting, but how do I actually do this? How do I connect with this word within myself? What are the practical steps involved? Well, the text does offer some guidance, doesn't it? It mentions things like meditation, contemplation, introspection.
Right, those practices that are really about cultivating that inner connection. And what's interesting is that the text emphasizes the universality of these practices. It suggests that while the specific methods might vary across different traditions and cultures, the underlying principle is consistent.
It's about quieting the mind, turning inward, and becoming aware of that deeper self.
Exactly. And, even though the text focuses on this specific concept of the word, the idea of connecting with your inner self through these types of practices is something that resonates across many different spiritual and philosophical traditions.
It's that common thread that ties together so many different approaches to, well, to understanding ourselves and our place in the universe.
For sure.
And speaking of big, profound ideas, the text doesn't shy away from making some pretty bold statements. For example, it states that those who fully grasp the word, those who truly embody it, they become, well, not separate from God at all, but expressions of that divine essence.
That's a powerful concept, right? It ties back into the idea of the word as this interconnected force, the source of all creation. So everything is ultimately an expression of the word. Then when we tap into that essence within ourselves, we're essentially becoming part of that interconnected web.
It's like we're all interconnected, all part of the same I don't know, the same cosmic fabric.
Exactly. And our actions, our thoughts, our very being all become reflections of that divine word.
It really makes you think, doesn't it?
It does.
So to bring this back to our listeners, we've been talking about this concept of the word, this divine essence, this creative force. We've explored the idea of the sacred Atlantean Brotherhood and their dedication to embodying the word. We've talked about the importance of challenging our beliefs and embracing the discomfort that comes with growth. But the question remains, what does all of this mean for us in our daily lives? How can understanding these concepts, these ideas, actually impact the way we live, the way we interact with the world, the way we see ourselves?
That's the real question, isn't it?
It is. And, the text itself doesn't offer any easy answers. It doesn't provide a step-by-step guide to enlightenment. But it does leave us with a powerful challenge, a thought-provoking question that we can all carry with us.
If we are all expressions of this divine word, this cosmic force that connects everything and everyone, what responsibility does that place upon us?
What does it mean to truly live in alignment with that understanding?
And how might recognizing this interconnectedness, this fundamental unity, change how we interact with each other, with the world around us, with ourselves?
That's something I think we all need to ponder.
Absolutely.
So for our listeners out there, we encourage you to take some time to reflect on these questions, to explore these ideas further, to dive deep into your own understanding of what the word might mean to you, because ultimately, the answers lie within each and every one of us.
That's the beauty of it.
It's a journey of self-discovery, and we're all in this together.
We are.
Until next time, keep seeking, keep questioning, keep diving deep.
And keep wondering.